Welcome to the Enchanted Earth podcast, where you will hear stories of nature with the power to transform our lives. These sacred stories are begging to be shared now. So listen in as my guest today shares one of their own. Well, welcome everybody. Today we have a treat. We have with us Maribeth Decker, and let me tell you a little bit about Maribeth. She is considered an expert in intuitive animal communication, medical intuition, and energy healing. In her sessions, she offers more than just animal communication. As a retired naval officer, Maribeth's rich personal life and experiences have enabled her to bring a wealth of heart-centered wisdom to her work with each client. Using 3 methods, she leads pets and their people to a place of emotional, behavioral, and physical healing. Based on her extensive experience with animal transitions, Maribeth wrote the Amazon bestseller, Peace in Passing: Comfort for Loving Humans During Animal Transitions. Her book provides a roadmap to help guardians navigate this difficult leg of their animal's life. Oh, so welcome, Maribeth.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here, Maureen. Thank you.
Oh, great. Now, that last bit there about your wonderful book, I'm sure rings very true to all of us animal lovers who have had, loving furry members of our family pass. And I actually had one pretty recently. So
Oh,
really challenging. Every single one is unique and different in experience. And so anyhow, I think that is just such a lovely gift to the world that you've
thank you. And
given.
because you never it's not like, well, I've done this before. I know what we're doing now. The grief is deep, and sometimes it's relentless and it just grabs you. So I'm so sorry. So
Thank you.
yeah, it's tough stuff because we love them so much.
Yes.
Okay, deep.
But
Okay.
the joy, the absolute
Oh,
pure joy that we get from these furry family members are just beyond. And we can't wait to adopt 2 new cats. I can't personally wait. So I love having people with all different types of backgrounds and somehow related to the natural world. And of course, our wildlife and our domesticated pets are wildlife.
yes, they are.
So, I always like to ask people, can you tell us a little bit about your childhood and how it was related to nature?
Okay. I grew up in a different era. I have to say, I still laugh when I hear my dad say to me, because I like to read books. He'd say to all of us kids, "Go get outside and get the stink blown off you." I don't know. I don't know if there was a thing that people said in Buffalo, but I'd never heard it anywhere from my dad. So we kids, we spent a lot of time outside, and I liked it. I liked my books, and I liked being outside. We had a small creek, and we were always looking for who was living in there. And there was a field behind us that we had enough rain that there was a little bit of ice, and so you actually get your ice skates on, even if you didn't go to the big place, Como Park. You could still go right in the field and go ice skating. And spending time outside throughout the year. Snow is a big deal in Buffalo, so snow forts and all that kind of stuff, and just enjoying every living thing and this is my take on it, that I could see and find and look at. I enjoyed myself. I think one of my favorite memories is when I went out to a cabin somewhere with my girlfriend and her parents, and we were on our own digging in the clay, other than to come back when it was time for food. or sleep. And that was it. There was a time we were outside because that's where we wanted to be. It was lovely. It was lovely.
Wow. Yeah, it is a childhood that not many people have, especially nowadays. So it is
Yeah.
really a treasure. Absolutely. So I understand from reading through your blog a bit that you weren't born an animal communicator. I
No.
think that's the words that you actually used. So did did you have any experience as a child that maybe foreshadowed this gift in any way?
Yeah, it's funny. I can't tell you anything that like, oh, I look back and whoa. I mean, I did have a time where it was a lot of fun. I was at my grandparents' house with my grandfather, and there was a squirrel, and they would run up the tree, and I'd run toward it, and then it'd run back down at me, and I'd run away. And he finally said, that squirrel is playing with you. I'm like, oh, you're right. um, But nothing like, "Whoa, I know one day I will be communicating with animals." And at first I thought that's terrible, like, that's not the story people wanna hear. But then the truth comes through, which is, like, if I can get it somewhere in my late 40s, early 50s, I think anybody can do it, right? I mean, it's not it is a gift, but it's also a skill. And so it's not something that, like, if you didn't have it when you were a kid, tough luck, baby. No, we can figure out how to connect with our animals, how through intention and love, I think is the big thing.
Oh, yeah. I think, so many of us think about that experience of doing something like that is, you know, we're thinking of how to do it, but that's what gets in the way. It's really the heart and
It
that
is the heart.
really deep felt connection that is the way.
It is. I started by learning through telepathy, which is a mind to mind connection. But I realized when you add the heart connection, which is everybody who loves their animals have already got that connection going, then there's even a greater chance of opening, of hearing or noticing or just knowing what's going on, and we can tap in to those we love, and then sometimes it expands to nature, which is a lot of fun too. So
Oh.
yeah, 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 yeah. So
Oh.
um, I'll tell a funny story, which still makes me laugh. I was visiting my daughter in Australia, I think back in 2012, and we were at the pool, and I went into the women's bathroom, and there's a kangaroo in the women's bathroom. Wow. Okay, and the kangaroo has I'm gonna say her because it's the women's bathroom. I have no idea. She's chewing on, um, a roll of toilet paper,
Oh.
and she looks at me like, "Oh, I'm caught," and she feels like she's chewing on it like a gum, and, like, she's waiting for somebody's mother to say, "Close your mouth when you're chewing. You don't open your mouth." And I looked at her, and I I said to her, I said, "Look, you got your thing, I got my thing. I'm just gonna walk around you, walk into the stall, and we're fine." And she let me pass. I went into the bathroom, and then I heard she went into the men's because I heard a little boy screaming, "There's a kangaroo in here today." But but it was fine. We just had an understanding, and it was really lovely. Because then I have to say, I saw all these pictures of kangaroos who would go back on their tail, and they would use their arms and their feet to fight. And I thought, "Nope, that did not happen for me." Okay, that was much more fun.
Absolutely. Oh,
Yeah,
wow. That is
yeah.
just so precious. Do you Well, I would love you to share. I don't know if we have time for several stories, but we could just see.
Okay.
I would love to hear kind of how an experience of when you realized you could actually talk with pets. But then I'm curious how that moved to the greater natural world too.
Okay. Um, whoa. I think my connection, or actually with the greater actual world, came first in the sense that I did understand that there was sentience in the natural world that, you could connect with. And I mean, I had my first spiritual experience in the woods. And I won't go into that right now, but it was in the woods. It wasn't somewhere where there's some building with people talking or singing. I was out in the woods and had this incredible experience of creator. Um, and then that just the sense that there is more to life than just human sentience. Even as a kid, I got that feeling. But then you go on and you build your life for most of us, and you find a job and things like that, and you kind of close off to it a little bit. So I was getting back into something that really turned me on, which was energy healing. And I became a Reiki master and learned a few other things. And that's when my dogs started communicating with me. I did not say, and now I'm going to be an animal communicator. First one was my dog, Timmy. I love telling this story. He had already passed a number of years ago. And I'm in the kitchen making dinner. And out of the corner of my eye, I see him. And he's a full body apparition. It's not like, it's almost Halloween as I'm talking. Not like the little ghostly see through him. No, it was like he was sitting there looking at me. And it was great. And I turned my head really fast and said, Timmy. And he was gone. Yeah. But he was real. He was still alive, even though his body died. And he was happy and came back. And then it continued to happen. And that's when I thought I'd start doing it on purpose. And when I started doing it on purpose, getting training, then I started to feel like I could connect more with all of nature purposefully rather than just accidentally, if I can say it that way. That's where the kangaroo came in, and the squirrels in the neighborhood, and clouds.
Wow.
I love clouds. Yeah. So I'll stop there and let you
Well,
listen.
I have a thing for clouds as well. I find myself taking a lot of pictures of the sky and the clouds, right? Oh, well,
Yes. Yes.
okay, now you started sharing a little bit about this story, and you said, "I won't go there," but would you share? This is where I think maybe some real juices.
Yeah. Yeah. I did shift me a lot. I was going to 2 religious classes. I was in middle school, and I said to God, I like to say creator. I said, are you real? Or if I just getting told stories, or are you the real deal? And I had an experience where I'm going to say it the way it came through. Creator, who was neither male nor female, was just a loving presence. It felt like they pulled themselves out from existence for a second, and it felt so alone and terrible. It was as if somebody had taken the oxygen out of, and I'm like, oh. And then it all came back in. I thought, oh, you're everywhere. You're in everything. And you're smart. I mean, you're intelligent, you're caring, you love, but you are in everything we see. Like, wow. And of course, I'm like 12 or 13, so I don't run home and say, guess what? I just happened. It got put down in a little pocket somewhere.
Isn't
Yeah.
that wow, what a gift you received.
I did. Because at that point, not you are in everything, you are everything. If I can be more specific. And at that point, it was like, okay, I got that one done. There is a creator. They are loving. They want the best for us. They're all around and available. And Yeah, got that off my plate. What else, what else do I need to learn, kinda?
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh my
yeah.
God, I got tears in my eyes.
Oh,
What a profound experience, and the way it came through was to actually show you, or not show, well, have you experience its loss, and then when it rushed back in, it was, I'm sure, such a loving, supportive feeling that
it
you didn't
was.
even realize was there all along.
You got it, exactly. I'm like, "What?"
Wow,
This is this is a good reality.
it's it's like we don't realize the light until it's missing and it's dark.
Yeah,
And then when the light comes back, we embrace it. Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, it was good stuff. Yeah.
You
There are
know,
no words, right?
no, yeah. I mean, the words are so important to be able to share the best we can, but
Yes.
they are nowhere near the actual experience.
Yeah.
Um, and isn't it so often true when we have these profound experiences, even as an adult, because it's happened to me.
You
You quickly get sidetracked by just everyday garbage. And I mean, maybe even some of us are a little fearful of, what was that experience? If I tell somebody, what are they going to think about me? Are they going to think that I've just made it up, that I'm going crazy? Oh, I hear a little kitty cat.
Yeah,
Can
that's
you
funny.
share? Bunny,
Come here, bunny. She's a
I
cat.
I read about your cat Bunny, and I had a cat named Bunny too.
Oh, you did. This is Bunny.
Oh,
She's
you're
not talking.
beautiful.
She
You're
says, "Yeah, yeah,
beautiful.
yeah."
Oh,
I
my
heard you
bunny
read.
was a calico.
Oh, how sweet.
Yeah, and I have so many pictures of her on my Instagram, I think from years ago. But
Yeah.
anyhow, these stories are so often pushed aside
Yes.
because we feel like it was our imagination,
Well,
perhaps.
wow. Or who are we? Like,
Well, oh,
who am I to have that kind of experience? How did I get picked? I'm nobody. I mean, I'm not saying that like, but I am saying it like, don't you have to be like somebody who um, can lift themselves up into the air before you get stuff like this to happen? Or
yeah.
can just an ordinary person experience this? Nobody tells us that.
Wow, Mary Beth. Yes, that is another reason why these stories are pushed aside, because it couldn't have happened the way I recall it. I made it up, I embellished it, really didn't happen.
Yeah.
Um, so you pushed it aside, and do you recall anything that brought it back up for your more maybe mature review of it?
Well, I always wondered why I named my animal communication business Sacred Groves, and finally it came back and said, "Oh, well, that's why you were in the woods when this happened." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, okay." I kn- yeah, and it made sense to me because I'm like, why didn't you just go with marybethdecker.com? And I'm like, no, Sacred Grove, that's the one for me because of this experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am curious, like, does your ability to communicate just come on when you're, say, out in nature? Obviously, you don't walk around your life like Snow White, like, oh, connecting with the birds and connecting with the leaves, and you know, but do you have to turn it on, or does it just kind of spontaneously, you get a message and you know who it is talking to you?
I'm Let's see, that's a really good question. I think I'm a better sender than receiver, but that's not that I'm not receiving. So I do go out and especially I got the dogs, and I'm taking the dogs for walks in the park, and I look around, and uh, I'm s- I'm actually telling the beautiful trees and all the beings that are there how grateful I am that they're there. I'm looking up at the clouds and telling them how beautiful they are. They're kind of enamored of hearing that. They don't hear us say that to them often enough. So there's um and I do get responses sometimes. Well, here's a funny story. I I have 2 dogs, and my one dog, little Molly, she's about 15 pounds, and the joke is, but it's the truth, she is a boxer, Chihuahua mix, 15
Wow.
pounds. Yeah. So, yeah, yeah, just to let that simmer a little bit. But she loves trying to get the squirrels, and never gonna let her do that. Squirrels are part of my family at this point. And I saw one squirrel go around the tree where they hide, and then it pulls back up, and I saw the squirrel look at her, and I heard the squirrel say, "Oh yeah, I've heard about you. It's all over the place. You're the dog that's always trying to catch us. We know about you. We are not going to give you a chance to catch us." And I laughed so hard. It's like, oh, there's neighborhood gossip about what's going on and who to keep an eye on. So, stuff like that will pop through, and it's fun. It's fun.
Oh, wow. So I'm curious, I know everyone kind of has a different way of getting information. Are you hearing like just words come to you? Are you getting images? Or what is kind of your
Well, it's a mix now. I think I'm really blessed because when I started, it was kind of a knowing, but now I I have pictures, or might be even little videos in my mind's eye, not eyes open. I hear things. I Because I do medical intuition, I feel things in my body, the physical. I also feel emotions. Um, and I think because I'm a music lover, I also I sometimes hear songs which are symbolic of something that the animal wants to share with their person, or there's something that comes through that way. So even symbols come through different ways. So it's kind
Yeah.
of fun to see how it gets translated from them to me.
Yeah. So I do nature connection and I work with land.
Yeah.
And trees, of course, are, probably the primary beings that I'm connecting with, and I get different things as well, and that is really just, developing within me over the last few years, but, yeah, I get a variety of methods too. Yeah, I think that's
Neat.
probably pretty common.
It is, and people think one is better than the other. I think if you're receiving it, it's good. They're all
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
yeah. Do you have another story that you wanna share with us that
Uh, Let me think. That there's so many good ones. A story that not everybody gets the funny part of this, but I'll try to tell it in a way that made me laugh. My dog Mitsubishi, he was a Siberian Husky. Um, he and his companion Eddie, who's a girl dog, kids named her. Um, they were companions. They were together for quite a while, and I had started doing energy healing on Eddie at the end of her life, and she passed anyway, and he was there for the whole thing. So after a while after she passed, I noticed that his back end was getting kind of tight and things like that, and so I said, let me get some energy healing. And we're both on the couch because dogs and cats can sit on the couch in my house. And I'm putting my hands on him and sending the energy gently through. And this is before I knew that I was getting the real thing. He looked at me and I heard him say, "Don't try that. You can put that blank in there on me. Look what it did to Eddie." And he jumps off the couch, and I said to myself, if my dog could talk, that's how I said at the time, I just heard him swear at me like a sailor, which is funny because I was in the Navy. And, oh, good. I'm glad you're laughing. He's like, okay, I guess my dog's really been listening to me because some of those words do come out of my mouth. And he's like, no way, baby. I'm out of here. So when I got better at communicating, I had a conversation. I said, look, it didn't send her to the other side. I did not cause her death. I just helped her ease her transition, and I promise you it'll be all good. And I'm sorry that you thought that. And then he let me do energy healing on me after we had that conversation. So.
Wow.
But
wow.
It was, yeah, thank you for letting me share that one because it always makes me laugh.
Oh my gosh, that is, yeah. I mean, we tend to forget that animals have personalities. And not only our pets, but even wildlife, like, that squirrel talking to you about your dog. I mean, and then you realize that everything has a uniqueness to it.
It does. It does, which is so enjoyable when you realize that. Just kind of open to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just want to be mindful of our time, Maribeth. And do you have any words of wisdom or anything you'd like to share with this audience?
I would like to go back to where we started, Maureen, about everybody can do this with open-mindedness and some practice, and of course, starting with the love. I'd like for folks to think of any of those times where they had the same experience or something similar to it of if my fill in the blank could talk, or if they could share something with me, I swear I just got this, and trust that it's true, that it's real, and build on it, and even say thank you. Particularly, I'm going to say this because I wrote the book, but our animals in spirit also come. And so if you get a dream or you get a feeling that they've visited, say, thank you, I'll take more. I'm so glad you let me know you're fine. Just know it and trust it and say, I'll take more. This is great stuff. Let's keep doing this and see where it takes you. It could be a lot of fun.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. And I don't know if this is timely or not. And but last night I had a dream of some random animals, but they were all black. A black pig, a black goat, and 3 squirrels. But yeah, I'm just I'm just kind of curious about that, and I thought I would just share that because it was last night.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, I really have to dig into that, but
Yeah.
I know that I've had visitations by my loving furry family, and in dreams and waking life. And I
Yes.
know that my cat that just passed this summer, I have, again, like you said, out of the corner of your eye, and then you go look and they're not there, but you know that you saw them walking into the kitchen and there's your dog just to confirm it for me. Yes.
Oh, everybody's
Yes.
there's my little doggy Maui there.
All right. So yeah, they're all telling me
They're
that
all
yes.
Yep.
Yes, I got a visitation from Simba for sure. And yeah, it really it is so beautiful.
I was hoping we would get through everything without the dogs chiming in, but
Oh,
here
that's
we are.
okay. No, it was perfect. It was perfect. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today, Maribeth Decker. And can you share your website is called sacredgrove.com, correct?
That's right. That's right. Grove. I've also heard people say Sacred Grove. Nope. And Scary Grove. Nope.
Especially this month, right?
I know. I'm thinking that.
Yeah.
But it's Sacred Grove.
Okay. And on your website, they can purchase your book?
Yes. Yes,
They
they'll find.
can take courses with you,
Yeah, I can teach them to connect.
and you also do, of course, virtual and in-person consultations with people who
I
want
do.
assistance. Ah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Ah, well, thank you for your beautiful presence in the world and bringing, so much love and, um, I think a sense of peace for all of us that really need that connection with our loved ones. So,
I'm glad this was a lovely conversation, Maureen. Thank you.
oh, thank you. And all of you who are listening, please share, like, comment below. I would love to hear any feedback that you have about our conversation here today. So, have a wonderful day. Thank you, Mary Beth.
Thanks.
Thank you for being a part of the Enchanted Earth podcast. Comment below, share, and most of all, please hit the subscribe button so that you'll hear when we publish another inspiring episode. You can visit us at luminous-spaces.com for more information on our online courses, retreats, and offerings. Thank you and have a magical day.